Hi guys, the AirDSP app is now live on all major platforms from Apple to Android to Windows. You can download it absolutely for free. And if you have the AC650, what a treat. You're going to be able to do all sorts of new things you weren't able to do before. But if you're a speaker builder and you don't know what AC650 is, let me back up real quick and just fill you in on what's happening. So as a speaker builder, the biggest bottleneck is usually the crossover network. You never quite know if what you've designed is the optimal network. And sometimes people make the mistake of buying a off-the-shelf passive crossover system at like 1 kilohertz or whatever. What a mistake. Don't do that. You're basically leaving so much on the table. With an active system, with AC650 from Akustas, what you can do is try different crossovers. You can measure them, you can look at them, you can hear them. The most important thing is you can hear them in presets, preset A, preset B, and one of them is going to sound better to you. One of them is going to be amazing to you. And this process with the passive way usually takes a really long time, and you really got to know what you're doing. If you think you know what you're doing, there's always a learning curve. You got to learn more, which is fine. We love analog systems. However, there's a better way, there's a faster way, there's a more enjoyable way. There's a way where your ears can get trained, where you can learn what sounds good. At a certain point, you won't even need REW for the most part. You'll be able to tune speakers by ear, and you will know what sounds good, and then you can double check with REW, with using like rephase and things like that to fine-tune, to really fine-tune things. But today is actually even more impressive. Today, we've launched AirDSP, and with AirDSP, what's really cool is we have the FIR Volt. We have the FIR Volt, we have the FIR Builder with things like linear phase filters. We can do Linkwitz and Riley. We can do brand new invisible filter. We can do the NTX Pro, which is by far my favorite filter. And we also have the Linearizer, where you can take IIR crossovers and unfold them and make them linear. And I'll show you a little bit about that in this video. I'm gonna just walk through a couple of things. But the major takeaway is now you can do in active system that you can never do in a passive system. You can get more from your drivers. The drivers gotten so good lately. There's so many amazing drivers, ceramic drivers, beryllium drivers, TechStream, fiberglass. There's all these drivers, great new motor networks. People have really been pushing that to reduce distortion, different kinds of voice coils to get these drivers to absolute optimal. But then people put basically these passive crossovers, and they never really know if you're really getting the most from your drivers. And you can find that out with active AC650, with the system, and now with AirDSP, you could do things you could never do with a passive system. And this is something that the professionals use in the pro audio world. They have linear phase filters in a lot of systems already, but now you could do this at home from any device, anytime, no need for any cables or anything like that. It's always on your wireless system, it's on your Wi-Fi, ready to go when you are. If you want to do quick tuning, if you want to just choose a source, volume control, listen to music, it's all in the app. And if you want to do deep tuning, it's in the same app, just a different tab, and it opens up a whole world. Let me show you real quick what the AirDSP can do. And we'll do quite a few videos where I'll be building stuff, I'll be going over things. I'm happy to answer your questions. It's a new world, it's an acoustic frontier. We're looking at what's possible, what kind of things can we develop that haven't been done before, or they've been done before, but how can we make them better, more intuitive, easier for people? How can we get more people involved in the hobby of acoustics, of audio, learning about sound, learning about acoustics? This is the acoustic frontier, and I can't wait to show you more about it. If you haven't downloaded AirDSP, download it now, check it out, update the firmware, and see what you can do with it. Let me quickly show you what the AirDSP can do, and let me walk you into my office. Come on, let's go ahead in here. All right, guys, let me quickly walk you through the app. Let me show you AirDSP. So first of all, we're on Mac OS in desktop view, so everything is laid out differently. You can make things bigger, you can make things smaller. You could see the entirety of the 15 band EQ per channel. You could select multiple channels at the same time to control, or just one at a time. When you're not tuning, you can collapse this whole app into app view. So everything is just much more compact, and you can just have it in the corner over here while you're doing like Room EQ Wizard. You can just be listening to music, and it's just a lot more compact. But going back to the desktop view, first of all, we completely redesigned our presets. The presets over here, they're completely redesigned. They have their own file that you could share, that you could keep. It's called ACP file. It's no longer a text file. It's an ACP file. So it remembers basically everything. Even your groups, everything you've created, it's all in one file that you could share. We also have the amp state that saves not only the presets, but it saves all the presets in the amp state. So if you need to wipe the amp completely clean, you can save the amp and reload it, and everything is back. So that whole system is completely revamped. We also have the delays. So the delays can now be done in inches. So for instance, like for these speakers, it's only a few inches that I want to offset. So you could do it in inches, in feet. I've actually used the feet very successfully on a venue. We did ice skating show for my wife, and my kids were part of it, where speakers are spaced out a lot further from each other. And I controlled the entire venue from an AC650, which was very cool. But yeah, you could use feet for that. But let me show you by far the most exciting part. This is what I think you're gonna use a lot. This is the FIR builder. And the FIR builder is a game changer. So first of all, it's a linear phase. And what that is, that means that all frequencies arrive at the same time. When you have IIR crossover or a passive crossover, you have bigger delay at certain frequencies. So if you go lower in frequencies, those are the ones that are delayed more. As you go higher in frequencies, they're delayed a little less. So you have this misalignment. Certain frequencies take longer to arrive. Certain frequencies are faster to arrive. With FIR, all that is fixed. They all arrive at the same time. And this is crucial. This is really nice to have at the crossover point, where you don't want to have any kind of smearing, especially between 2 to 5 kilohertz, where vocals and percussion lives. You want to have that really, really nice percussion, that really nice hit. And with vocal, it's very good to have in the higher frequencies that really crisp, clean vocals. And this is where FIR can help, especially on the steeper slopes. And that's where Linkwitz-Riley, we have Linkwitz-Riley here, and you can go pretty steep in these slopes. You can go up to 8th order. You can start at 2nd order, go all the way up to 8th order. Doing this with passive is almost impossible. You could do it, but it's much more complicated. Here, it's just a click of a button or on your phone, and you can listen to it. You can hear the difference. You can hear what you like, and keep it linear. You can load these taps live and keep it linear. Now we didn't stop there. We went further. We did a lot of research, a lot of testing, a lot of measurements, and we came up with the invisible filter. This is based on the Gaussian equations, and we came up with also from 1st order to 8th order, you can essentially have almost perfect time domain coherence. It's really nice for lower to mids. That's what I use it for, but you tell me, give it a try. And without further ado, my absolute favorite, NTX Pro. NTX Pro has the sharpest roll-off without the consequences. Well, I shouldn't say consequences, but without the downside, I guess, of having such sharp roll-offs, because this is linear phase. And what can you do with it? So what you can actually do with it is you can take a tweeter, okay? And usually with a tweeter, with a slow roll-off, you have to roll it off much earlier, much higher in the band, so that way you don't damage you don't damage the tweeter, or you don't introduce distortion. You don't have to have that diaphragm move as far. But the problem with that is that you've given up so much of that tweeter. A lot of times you're giving up a little bit of that tweeter because you have to move it higher in frequency. So if you want to shift your tweeter lower, NTX Pro is the way to go, and I love doing that. It's not for everybody, but I am a big fan of that because I love soundstage. Soundstage is super important. The location of the instruments is very important. So if you have your tweeter doing everything it's capable of, NTX Pro will do that for you. So give that a try, see what that does for you. I often do 36 dB 6th order, and sometimes even 8th order crossover will do really well. And then of course we have the Linearizer. I'll do a separate video on that because it's an amazing tool. You can take an IIR filter like a Bessel. In Germany, for some reason in Germany, everybody loves the Bessel filter. Shout out to Germans, my friends from Germany. I like them too. I've been using Bessel a lot more lately, but now what you can do is you can unwrap the Bessel filter. You can essentially create the FIR filter to help unwrap it, which it doesn't even need that much, but it does help a little bit, especially in those frequencies we talked about. You can do the same thing to Butterworth. You can unwrap it now and make it linear phase for all intents and purposes. On top of that, what you can do is you can import things from Rephase. So Rephase is very powerful and free, but essentially you can do IIR crossovers, but then you can bring in whatever you've measured. You can correct your phase, you can bring in EQ, you can do all sorts of things into the IIR, into the FIR vault. So that is also very impressive. I don't want to get too into details in this video, but you could do that. Another thing that's super impressive is our ability to do the parametric EQ. Now you can click on the graph, you can drag them. This is very much similar to how things work in the pro audio world. There are some really good pro audio plugins that allow you to do this, and now you can do this right here within AirDSP. You can essentially have the fine tuner. So we have the fine tuner where you can shift this frequency very carefully right there, around the frequency you're interested in. Also, you have the low shelf, the low shelf that people have been asking about for quite some time, and we stuck to our promise. We said we're going to deliver it. It is here now. You can do the low shelf right in here. You can also do the high shelf. This is peaking. You could do high shelf. Okay, you could do it just like that. And one of the best parts is you can do these things right on the iPhone, right on the Android. You can do exactly the same things. Like, look at this. I'm about to, let me show you. First of all, like, I can do the same exact thing, and let me synchronize it so you could see channel 1, channel 2. Watch this. First of all, let me reset all the... So I just reset everything, okay? And watch this. I choose the frequency, whatever I want here, okay? So you can not theoretically, you can go with your phone, sit down at the point of listening, set up your microphones, and do real-time analysis. And then you could essentially, like, say for instance, I'm doing this frequency, and then I'm gonna do a peaking filter. Okay, over there, look at this. I can grab the actual peak and move it around, okay? I don't know if you could see it. Let me show you on the actual phone. Look at this. Whoa, whoa, look at this. And now I'm in the second channel. So you can do multiple channels at the same time. You can do your band for whatever it is. And say, for instance, I need to bring down some sort of a hump or a peak that's out there. Boom, I brought it down. It's live updated to multiple apps. It's updated here. Everything is synchronized. Okay, that's great. So now this band right here, you could reset it if you want to, or you can edit it again, and the fine tuner is right there. You could go back to here and you can edit that band, or you can add another band. Say for instance, now you want to add something here. Okay, you can. Done, just like that. So I can't wait for you to try this, because this is a new way of doing it at home. You could essentially play around with each driver, each or your whole system as a whole with AirDSP. It's out now, it's live. Give it a try and let me know what you think. And we're gonna be updating it. We've got a couple updates coming out. Let me know if there's some features you like to have that I don't know about, or maybe we are thinking about it and just this will reinforce this. Yeah, I wanna do it as a community with you guys, and we've got some amazing things coming out. So subscribe, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.